Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a Spain news update, and the ecological disaster that is the Mar Menor is still making headlines, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel by buying merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your continuing support. Now, let's get into the news, and as I said, Murcia's Mar Menor still making headlines, and things are not looking good for that part of Spain. As we can see here, the Mar Menor launches an SOS. This is the anoxic pool that is killing fish. Lack of oxygen, anoxia, is the main cause of death of fish and crustaceans in the Mar Menor. This lack of oxygen is the final result, the last and lethal stage, of the long process of degradation and pollution. One of the main problems is the poor use of fertilizer from agricultural fields, nitrates and phosphorus, and livestock waste that reach the lagoon and cause the pool. This results in water flow and runoff feeding the microscopic algae. The proliferation of these algae darkens the water and prevents sunlight from reaching the lower layers, so the bottom vegetation cannot photosynthesize and the vegetation stops producing oxygen and dies. Bacteria then start to act, and not only do they not produce oxygen, but they also consume it. So the problem of anoxia, a lack of oxygen in the Mar Menor, killing fish and crustaceans in that sea. So, has the central government or the regional government down there in Murcia put up their hand to accept responsibility? No. In fact, the central government accuses the Murcian government of neglecting its powers in the face of the environmental drama of the Mar Menor. The central government considers what is happening to the Mar Menor to be a real natural disaster, but makes it clear that the situation is not the result of a weekend, but has come about as a result of a long period of inaction on the part of the government of Murcia when it comes to exercising its powers. This is what the spokesperson for the government, Isabel Rodriguez, said at the press conference following a meeting of the Council of Ministers, in which it was not decided to declare the lagoon a disaster area as the regional government of Murcia had requested. After almost 5 tons of dead fish have once again covered the beaches of the Mar Menor, Rodriguez insisted that this problem is the direct result of a deliberate consent to an irregular situation that is causing harm. So as the Mar Menor slowly dies, nobody seems to be willing to accept responsibility. The central government says that it's a problem for the regional government, and the regional government says that it's a problem for the central government. So while all of this toing and froing is going on, fish continue to die. Now, a huge drug trafficking operation has been broken up by the Civil Guard. Apparently, a group of Polish criminals had set up their base on the Costa del Sol and were transporting a huge amount of marijuana every month to other European countries. As we can see here, the story of Lado, the Polish drug trafficker who allegedly exported a ton of marijuana a month to Europe. 11 people have been arrested by the Guardia Civil in an operation that has led to the dismantling of an organization of Polish origin led by an alleged drug trafficker known as Lado, who allegedly exported a ton of marijuana a month from the Costa del Sol to Europe. The investigation has revealed that the network had connections with several cannabis producers in Granada and Cádiz due to the constant need for supplies. As El Confidencial has learned from sources close to the case, the ringleader of this network, 36-year-old MZL, was nicknamed Lado and resided in a luxury urbanization in Estepona, from where he allegedly directed the movements of all the members of the gang so that the transactions did not go awry. So a huge drug operation there busted by the Civil Guard. A ton of marijuana allegedly exported every month from the Costa del Sol to the rest of Europe. Now, there was an interesting story in the newspaper El País the other day that caught my attention about all of the important Spanish businesses that have gone bust in the last 40 years. And the headline, The Great Business Disasters of Spanish Democracy. The Real Academia de la Lengua defines fiasco as disappointment or adverse result of something that was expected to happen well. Some of this has happened at Abengoa, which last February filed for bankruptcy protection after more than 5 years of dodging it. Now the public prosecutor has found evidence of wrongdoing on the part of its most recent managers. The Andalusian firm, once a model company, has joined the list of the most notorious business failures in Spanish history, usually characterized by the speculative and in some cases criminal actions of its managers. José María Ruiz Mateos's Ramasa, Jordi Pujol's Banca Catalana, Mario Conde's Banesto, Manuel de la Concha's Ibercorp, Juan Villalonga's Terra, Antonio Camacho's Gescartera, Fernando Martín's Martinsa, Gerardo Díaz Ferran's Marsans, Rodrigo Rato's Bankia, Manuel Fernández Salsa's Pescanova, and Ángel Ron's Banco Popular. They may not be all there are, but they are all there, and through them a large part of the business history of Spain's democracy can be traced. So some huge names there heading up some of the most prominent business failures over the last 40 years or so. And as they said, a lot of those businesses failing because of speculation or criminal intent. And how many average Spaniards have lost money because of those failed businesses? Now let's have a look at a summary of the health situation in Spain. We can see that the accumulated incidence rate for the last 14 days is now down to 305. Cases are down 41% on previous data. There are still 7,959 COVID patients hospitalised around the country, and there are still 1,769 COVID patients in ICU. However, the sad news is that daily deaths are up 44% on previous data. If we have a look at another of Spain's COVID hotspots, Extremadura, we can see that the incidence rate there is sitting at 489, but daily cases are down 11% on previous data. If we turn our attention to the vaccination campaign, we can see that close to 67% of the population is now completely vaccinated, and 75.5% of the population have received at least one dose of their COVID vaccine. Now, the luxury home market in Spain seems to be growing, and according to web portal Idealista, Spain now has more than 36,000 luxury homes worth more than €1 million. Spain has 36,368 luxury homes on the market, those priced at over €1 million, according to data as of the 1st of August published by Idealista. The data from the real estate portal also shows that the province of Malaga has the highest concentration of this type of property, with 23.1%, followed by the Balearic Islands with 22.9%, the Community of Madrid with 15.1%, and Barcelona with 12%. Alicante with 9.7% and Girona with 4.8% are the two other provinces with the most amount of luxury homes. So plenty of luxury homes on the market in Spain if you've got more than €1 million to spend. Now there's some good news for digital nomads that are looking to move to Spain, and it is that Spain is launching a digital nomad visa. But where should you stay? If you fancy getting away from your desk and jetting off to work somewhere far from home, then Spain might be your next destination of choice. With the rise of remote working, the country is planning to introduce a digital nomad visa that will allow you to stay and work for a maximum of 12 months. Startups may also be given tax incentives to encourage young entrepreneurs to make a move somewhere new. The lack of job opportunities in rural Spain has left many small towns and villages with dwindling populations, but these destinations in particular are more than ready to welcome remote workers. Around 30 towns and villages across Spain have decided to join the Red Nacional de Pueblos Acogedores para el Teletrabajo, or National Network of Welcoming Villages for Remote Workers, to encourage digital nomads to visit. They all have under 5,000 residents and want to attract new residents to repopulate their streets. So, some fantastic news for digital nomads that are looking to relocate to rural Spain. Some 30 villages around the country currently looking to attract this type of worker. So where exactly in Spain are these villages located? Well, if we go to the website in question, we can see that there are 12 located in the north of Spain, 6 in Castilla y León, 4 in Andalusia, and 13 in Castilla-La Mancha close to Madrid. If we click on Castilla-La Mancha, we can see where these villages are. For example, the village of Huete in the province of Cuenca, and the shared workspace there is apparently the local library, and they have a 4G connection. And if we go into Castilla y León into the Burgos province and click on this village, La Sequera de Aza, we also get a chance to take a look at what this village is like. So very rural, as we can see, a nice set of swings for the kids, a little bit of background information about the town, all of the services that the place has, for example 4G connection, bus connections, connections to a highway, there's a gym, there's a hotel, there's a church, and there's also plenty of routes to go hiking. And if we take a look at what it would cost to live there, it's about €60 a week to rent a house, and food costs would be around €70 a week. So if you're looking to work remotely in a small village in the Spanish countryside, that is the website for you. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Angela. Stu, thank you for giving me a laugh smile most days. Love the way you handle stuff in the comment section. I've learned a lot from your videos, thanks. Yeah, Angela, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you find the videos informative and you get the odd laugh. As I have said on many occasions, the main objective of this channel is to provide information, either from me or from people in the comment section, and there have been thousands of useful comments left by valuable community members over the years. Sadly, not all the comments provide useful information, but as the Spanish say, es lo que hay. One here from Chrissy. I had lessons for 16 months, learnt proper Spanish. I don't get enough practice here in Salar. It is totally different. Our lawyer said they are not Spanish. LOL. Took me ages to understand them. Better now. Yeah, Chrissy, thanks for the comment, obviously referring to a comment we saw the other day from somebody picking me up on my pronunciation of the word Ibiza, saying that I was not pronouncing that word correctly and that the locals there in Ibiza pronounce it differently. And you're right, there are some parts of the country where it is difficult to understand what the locals are saying, especially down there in Andalusia where you are, Granada, I think it is. I think I've said a few times on this channel that I find certain accents in Andalusia very difficult to understand, especially in Malaga. In fact, I remember a conversation I had a few years ago with a person from Malaga, a fairly simple conversation, but I couldn't understand a word he said. So don't worry, you're not the only person that has trouble understanding people in that part of Spain. One here from Nev. Stu, you were talking about beautiful places in Spain. Would love you to visit Sotogrande, where at least 5 royal families have homes. It's the Mayfair of Spain. Keep up the good work. Brilliant. Yeah, Nev, thanks for the comment. I have heard about that place down there in Cádiz, Sotogrande, one of the most exclusive housing estates in Spain, or urbanizations as they call them in Spanish. Very exclusive, I believe, and as you said, 5 royal families have property there. But I will check it out if I ever get to that part of the country and see why it's called the Mayfair of Spain. One here from Yann. Hi Stuart, about the Mar Menor. With the heat wave we had, the temperature of the water is higher than normal, and that is provoking the massive death of the fish. The phosphates and the nitrates are poisoning the water life there, and you are right that there is a game between the who to blame groups. But we had that now already a few times and still no improvement, which is very sad because it is a very nice place to be. Yeah, Yann, thanks for the comment, and the Mar Menor is apparently a nice place to be. I've never been there, but people have told me that it is a very special place down there in Murcia, a unique part of the country, in fact, that is unfortunately suffering an ecological disaster. And as we saw earlier in the video, no government wants to take responsibility for the disaster. They're in the middle of a ping-pong game and the blame is going back and forth. But as you said, this situation is not new. It's been going on for years now, but hopefully this is the turning point and things start to improve. One here from Alan. Ola Stuart, I really enjoy your debates and articles. It keeps me updated in the UK whilst I wait to return to Spain. Not sure if you've noticed the increase in house prices over there. With more English immobiliarias opening up and taking advantage of the lift in restrictions, they appear to be adding more of their over-extortionate profits onto house prices. Yeah, Alan, thanks for the comment. I have seen in recent times that there is a mini real estate boom going on in the country at the moment. House price sales are up. I think it's happening all over the country. I don't think it's unique to some of the more foreign resident hotspots like Malaga, Alicante, for example. And apparently there's huge demand for individual houses or semi-detached houses as people are looking to get out of their cramped living conditions in cities. So house price increases fairly general around the country, I believe. And finally, one from James. Hey Stuart, thanks for the upload as always. Your vids really cheer me up in grey old London. I miss your garden. Yeah, James, thanks for the comment, and good to see that the videos cheer you up in the grey and bleak weather city that is London. And I've had a few people over the last month or so saying that they miss my garden. They don't like the backdrop that I have here. They prefer the greenery, they prefer the plants, they prefer to see a few birds flying around, and of course the sunny weather. But don't worry, when I get back to Madrid, the garden videos will resume. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'm going to take a couple of days off, so I'll see you all again on Saturday. Hasta luego.